Ubisoft, what are you doing, guys? I feel like this company continues to just push the boundaries of what is possible with being a terrible company. Now, EA has held the crown for so long for being one of the worst companies ever, but I can't even discuss what Ubisoft has done in the past to its own employees without getting demonetized on YouTube. That's how bad this company is. This company has taken single-player games and monetized them like free-to-play multiplayer games. And here we are. Here's another Ubisoft-ism. They are re-releasing Far Cry 6 as a Game of the Year edition with all the DLC and stuff that isn't out yet for $120. $120. This game, Far Cry 6, I've seen it go for $15. Now don't tell me all that DLC is making it worth that $120. I know there are defenders of this company. I don't quite understand these people because, again, they are quite possibly the worst game company on the planet, considering all the things they've done, which, again, can't talk about or I'll be demonetized because that's how bad it is. Like Activision Blizzard level bad. What are they thinking? Now, this is okay. This isn't even like an amazing game that is coming back at a more than full price again. Now, every other company out there has put out a Game of the Year edition and include all the DLC, and they re-release the game in that way. Now, normally, they price it for about the same or a little bit less than they charge for the base game originally, but it includes all the DLC. That's not usually a bad deal, because you're like, oh, well, $60, I get the base game, and I get a shitload of DLC. That's awesome. That's wonderful. This is like they just decided, nah, you know what? I see that we've done this in the past a million times, and plenty of other companies have as well, but we're not going to do it this time. Instead, we're just going to charge you arbitrarily $120, because that's what we feel our game is worth, even though, again, it's been down to $15 before. Also, just the little cherry on top of this whole news story is the fact that Far Cry 6, again, like I said, was not a good game. Here's its Metacritic. Not good. It also didn't win Game of the Year, which just makes this even funnier because they're calling it a Game of the Year edition. You can't just call it that because you feel like it. When games are called Game of the Year editions, because they've won Game of the Year. Now, I'm sure there's been a couple things in the past that have done this too, but I mean, again, they didn't charge double the base price of the game for the Game of the Year edition, and they also weren't Ubisoft. Like, this is a massive company, and we can all see when you get a Game of the Year, because this is Far Cry 6. This isn't a small release. This is their tentpole release for their company, even though Far Cry 6 is just 5, 4, and 3 again. Games can repeat themselves quite a few times before becoming old. I mean, we saw Call of Duty just come out with game after game after game after game, and it took, I think, quite a few games for people to get really sick of it. Anyway, the point is, this is another one of those games that has been done a billion different times, hence the 6 in the title, and doesn't even deserve a re-release, in my opinion. Like, it doesn't even deserve this wrapped up thing with all the DLC, because who cares about this game? I don't know of anybody that loves the Far Cry games and loved this game. I mean, I like the Far Cry series quite a bit, but after the 5th one, I was like, I'm kind of done, guys. You're not really coming up with any new ideas here. The only new ideas Ubisoft ever comes up with is a new way to monetize their games in another ridiculous way, which we're seeing here with a $120 game. Let's quickly just take a look at what exactly comes for your $120 if you for some reason are interested in this. So you get the game, of course, you get Lost Between Worlds, you get the Season Pass, you get 3 DLC episodes, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon Classic Edition, which Blood Dragon has gone on sale for like $250 before, so that's not really anything. The Vice Pack, the Croc Hunter Pack, and the Jungle Expedition Pack. And what do you think those last 3 are? The Vice Pack, the Croc Hunter Pack, the Jungle Expedition Pack. What do you think those are? Do you think those are a bunch of missions? Do you think it's a bunch of new content? Of course it's not. It's just a bunch of cosmetics, some new weapons, and like a new pet. Okay, cool. Again, this is something that you should just see in your game of... Don't even call it Game of the Year Edition, just call it the Complete Edition. which would then harken back to the point that we're not getting the complete game anymore, and we actually haven't been spending $60 on complete games in a very long time, so the whole, oh, we need to charge $70 for our games argument kind of gets thrown out the window because they haven't been charging $60 forever. Just so much about this just completely boggles the mind and just shows how ridiculous Ubisoft is and how little they actually think about their audience. They think people are stupid enough to buy this, and unfortunately, I have a feeling that they are correct. I'm hoping you guys are smart enough to steer clear of this sort of crap, but I mean, again, to the people that are going to complain, you can do whatever you want with your money, but if you vote with your wallet and you show these companies you can't just do this to us, you can't just charge us this much for something that's been released since like the beginning of the 360 era, whenever they came out with the Game of the Year editions back then, where it would come with all the DLC for that base price again, or cheaper. I gotta stress that again. Sometimes they were cheaper for the Game of the Year edition. And plus, the fact that it's an Ubisoft game, I mean, if you haven't noticed this already, you need to start paying attention. The trend for the valuation of Ubisoft games is that they go for full price for about a month, and then after that, they just take a steep decline in price. Like I said, you could have gotten Far Cry 6 plenty of different times for $15 to $20. I think at one point I saw it for $10, and I still didn't buy it because I knew I wasn't going to play it because it's not a good game. And there are so many other games out there that deserve your time. It's just another Ubisoft open world game with a bunch of crap all over the map that you can collect and craft, with a bunch of random characters that you're not actually going to become attached to in any way, in a story that's just passable at best. That's what you're going to get. If you want that sort of game, great. Wait till it's $10, and I guarantee most of this DLC isn't worth it anyway. Oh, and fun fact, Ubisoft for the longest time wasn't charging $70, and that was the one thing I was going to give them. I was like, good job, guys. At least you guys aren't charging $70 for your games. Well, I guess that's going to change pretty soon. This could have been a separate video, but you know what? We're talking about Ubisoft. I might as well just throw it in when it comes to them just trying to fleece their audience. They're going to start charging $70 for their games. You know, honestly, they should just all be free to play at this point because of how much they monetize their games, how many of these like random little packs they sell, which I believe is basically just cut content that they then throw out later and go, oh yeah, look at this weapons pack. Oh, you want to buy that? Oh, yeah, skins. Skins for a single player game. Here you go. You can buy that. Oh, you can buy some time savers for your Assassin's Creed game since we bloated the hell out of it and made it way too long. That's another reason why I don't like Ubisoft games. They don't just design their games in like a really lazy way, but they also design them around the fact that they're full of microtransactions to make you want to spend the money to get past how bloated they made the game. And whenever I see a company treat their audience like this, to treat their fans like this, I don't want to support them, and I'm going to urge everybody around me to do the same. Vote with your wallet. And one last thing before I wrap this up. It again shows how stupid digital games are, because you can still find Far Cry 6 for $60 on most digital storefronts. Yeah, it goes on sale, but the fact that it doesn't stick at a $20 price tag, even though everywhere in stores, Amazon, GameStop, Best Buy, all these different places constantly have it at $20, just shows how stupid digital is as a whole. Digital should always be cheaper than the physical copies, not the other way around. That makes absolutely no sense at all, and that's how it's always been. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Ubisoft trying to raise the price essentially of Game of the Year editions from here on out to over $100. Like the video if you guys liked it, subscribe for more content, and as always, have a fantastic day. See everybody.